Welcome back to the garden. Today we are going to tackle the backyard. Currently the yard is full of natives that are lovely, but I would like more design, more variety, more variation, and more interest. So we're going to be keeping my maiden ferns, jack in the pulpit, and white snake, but we're also going to add in some of my other favorite plants, including the ones that mirror what I have in the front yard as well as other areas in the garden. So let's go ahead and get started. This shade bed has been evolving for years, but after reclaiming the space earlier this season, it was time to start adding plants back in. My goal isn't just to fill space. I want layers of texture, foliage color, movement, and 4 seasons of interest. Today I'm planting a mix of native, shade perennials, grasses, and hostas to build a woodland garden that looks good long after the flowers are gone. Before I could add anything new, I had to create some space. The maidenhair ferns had slowly crept further into the bed than I wanted, and a few plants had either outgrown their spot or simply weren't contributing to the design anymore. I love mature gardens because they evolve over time, but sometimes that means editing. Just because a plant is healthy doesn't mean it's in the right space. Several plants were moved elsewhere in the yard, including a sprinter boxwood, some hosta, and divisions of these blue hostas that were more than ready to be split. Once the space was cleared, I laid everything out before planting. I wanted taller plants to be in the back, middle height plants through the center, and lower growing plants in the front. But height wasn't the only consideration. I also wanted contrast between fine textures, bold leaves, upright forms, and plants that move in the wind. Northern sea oats are completely new to me. I'm looking for movement in this bed, and their distinct seed heads should provide interest well into fall and winter. The whitewood aster is one of those classic woodland plants that looks right at home in a shade garden. It blooms much later in than many shade perennials, helping extend seasonal interest. The maple-leaved alum root is a plant that is really here for foliage. The red leaves help break up all the green and give the bed another layer of color. Bottlebrush grass. Most people think grasses are just for sunny gardens, but there are several great shade options. Bottlebrush grass adds a complete different texture than a broadleaf surrounding it. Beak grass. This one will gradually form a larger clump over time and help soften the transition between plants. Lungwort is one of my favorite shade plants because its foliage stays attractive long after flowering. Bergenia is a relatively new plant for me, but the moment I saw it, I knew I needed it. The foliage carries the garden through the winter when many perennials disappear. Ligularia creates a strong focal point with its oversized leaves and bright summer flowers. Variegated Solomon seal. This one is one of the most graceful plants in the garden and a repeat plant elsewhere in this bed. I enjoy hostas, and they are definitely still doing some heavy lifting in this design. Friends have shared many of these with me over the years, and unfortunately I don't know the names of the cultivars. But I don't think every garden needs a rare hosta. Sometimes a healthy division from a friend is exactly what the garden needed, and it has more meaning. One blue hosta that I had was so crowded that I ended up getting 6 small divisions from one single plant. For seasonal color, I'm adding light pink impatiens. Every year I experiment with different colors, and this year I wanted something soft that wouldn't compete with foliage. Even before mulch, you start to see the structure coming together. Besides with the new additions, I also have Joe Pye weed, white snake root, maidenhair fern, some jack in the pulpits mixed in between, goat's beard, Kodiak durvella, and a sprinter boxwood. Once the mulch is down, the design really starts to come together. What I love most about this bed isn't any single plant. It's the combination of the textures. Fine grasses against the broad hosta leaves, reds against the blues, bright chartreuses next to the deep green. Nothing here is especially rare or expensive, but together they create a garden that's interesting from spring through fall. There's still work to do. I would like to add more winter interest over time, but between the boxwood, the Bergenia, grasses, and the structural foliage, this bed is heading in the right direction. The impatiens were recently cut back, so they're not doing much yet, but by midsummer, they're going to help to pull everything together. Thanks for gardening with me today.